Welcome to the Virtual Gardening Club. My name is Sue Glebensky and I work for the City of Ottawa. There are 5 city-administered museums and I work at the Cumberland Heritage Village Museum, which is located in the east end of Ottawa in the village of Cumberland. Today we're going to get our container garden set up, our plants in the soil, and we'll look at some tips on how to keep your plants healthy throughout the season. So let's get started. So now that you have soil in your container, we're going to start with planting, and we'll start with the tomato first. Now, the tomato is going to go in the center, and you simply need to dig a hole that's a little bit bigger than the root ball or the pot. And the tricky part is to invert your plant carefully, gently, upside down, and then we'll carefully place the plant into the hole. And what's important here is that you press it down enough so that the root and the stem is solidly upright. We're going to stake it. I have a little tomato stake here, and all you need to do is put your stake about 3 inches away from the plant, and then we'll be able to tie that up in a minute. We'll take the basil and do the same thing. So again, we'll make a hole big enough for the root ball. Gently invert the pot. Now, some of you might be experienced gardeners. Some of you might be doing this for the first time. So, just in case. Again, we're going to press the plant down so that the root ball and the stems are upright. The last thing we're going to plant are the flowers. And I'm simply doing the same thing, gently creating a hole to fit the root ball. I have 2 of them here, so I'm going to find another spot. And the trick again is to gently invert the pot so that the plant comes out gently, root ball intact. Now, press in lightly. Do the same thing with this other flower. This is Sweet William. Many plants are companion plants, and we're going to talk about that in a later video, but they like being planted together and protect each other from different types of pests. All right, so the last thing I'm going to do while planting is just secure our tomato plant, which is looking a little wilted, into the stake. I've got a little light twist tie, but you can use anything, a nylon, a strip of rag, anything, and that'll just ensure that the plant stays upright. The last thing we need to do now that we've got all of our plants in place and they're all happily secured into the soil, is we're going to add a little bit of water. Now, this is a self-watering container, but to get it started, we're going to add some water to each of the plants, and then we'll add a bit down the tube so that there's a base of water at the bottom of the container. So take your time. You might need a bit of help with this. And there you go. So there you have a bit of a good base of water for the plants. It's best to do all the watering in the evening so that the water doesn't evaporate or even scorch the leaves off of the plants. So I'm going to talk a bit about watering because containers have a tendency to dry out more quickly than plants that are in the soil. So the best way to check every day is to take a finger and test your soil. If your finger comes back with a little bit of dirt on it, then you have a fairly wet soil, and that is fine. Or you can even stick your finger way into the soil and make sure that it comes out dirty. But if it's dusty and your finger comes out clean, it is time to water the plant. Ideally, your container should be positioned in the sun, in full sun, for the whole day, so 6 to 8 hours. But if you happen to have a shady spot or your patio doesn't have a sunny place, don't worry. The plants will still grow healthily. It'll just take longer to see flowers or fruit. Well, I hope you enjoyed our video. We'll be back very soon with another video that will tickle your green thumb. Until then, enjoy your garden. For the City of Ottawa, I'm Sue Glebensky. Bye for now.
Funding for this program comes from the City of Ottawa's Older Adult Program, adjudicated by the Seniors Roundtable. Details are available on the City of Ottawa website.